That's everybody admitted that.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending. We'll start straight off. If we had apologies for absence, Emma.
No.
Okay. Is any members of the public wishing to speak?
Nobody's told me.
Okay. If anybody wants to, if they could make themselves known. There's someone connecting to audio, so if they, well, I'm sure they'll make it known. The planning applications, we'll get on with those. Shall we? The first one is the barn, Pritchard's Green Farm, Lesser Lane. Ground floor rear extent. Now, this 3 comments on the portal for this one from residents locally, and they just think it's a bit out of in the countryside. I mean, basically they put in it's an old barn, and which is now residential, and they put, but it must be very limited for space, and they're trying to put a kitchen, like an orangery type thing, and it looks very nice. I suppose it's just the size really. So if we go around the table, what people think.
Well, I'll be honest, I couldn't get on for any of the national park ones, so I'm not seeing it. But if it's only an extension, it's on a barn, and because if it's in the national park, I mean, you don't really, and it's not that near people, I can't see an issue. But
Jason.
Yes, at the last meeting, you mentioned share the opportunity to share bits of information with people during these meetings. Have you got have you got access to these plans that you could share with Stella, yourself, Nigel?
Yes, I could do, or does Emma want to?
Sorry, of course, Emma's got the screen off. I forgot that, Emma. Can you do that, Emma?
No, I haven't got them on it.
All right.
Okay, just one second. Do you want to allow sharing for me, please, Emma, and then I can show it.
I'm allowed sharing. I don't know if it's working, but
You're sharing your screen, Emma.
hold on.
If you give me, this probably what is arguably the probably more complicated one on the agenda.
Am I supposed to make you the host?
So, no, you just allow participant screen sharing. But give me a chance. I'll have to do just bring.
I wouldn't know how to do this. I'm going on an IT course after Christmas.
Just bear with me. I'll get ready.
I've allowed it in the thing, so.
I don't know, because I'm just waiting to bring it up. If I get the information first, and I'll try. Sorry, if somebody could, what did we do? So this is 10:13.
Yeah.
Just bear with me 10 seconds.
do it, Chris? Can you do
Sorry?
it?
Give me a moment. Ah, now I can. Yes, we're getting there. It's just okay. Oh,
Sorry, mate, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like this.
No, I can do it. I have the technology.
I know you do, yeah, I know. I've just sprung that on you. Perhaps you should have asked you before the meeting.
Yeah. I didn't. I thought it was only me that hadn't seen it.
Did you do a training course, Stella, on planning?
Yeah, but it didn't show it yet on this. Yeah, but it didn't tell me how to do share. How to do.
You should be able to see that now.
Yeah, I can
I'll
see.
try and make it
down.
larger. Okay. So basically, if you can see that, that's the back of the barn. The barn virtually faces open countryside. If you know where if you're in Coombs, you go from the pub to the school. Just as you bear right towards the school off Ridge Lane, it's a very set back like house on the right hand side. It's you have to sort of go down quite a drive to it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Back. So most of it is, you could probably see from Ladder Hill from the TV transmitter. So you can see what it looks around the back. If I go through the other page, oh, that's not. Right, so now what I'll try and do, that's the pictures. I'll try and bring up the plans. That I was thinking that would be. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Change. If you basically, you'll see what it's like in terms of the footprint for towards the bottom left.
Well, it's not that by the looks of it. It's not looking onto anybody, is it?
No,
you wouldn't see it unless you were up the top on the hill.
Okay, and the left hand side, as we're looking at it, you might be able to see some other back gardens from a distance, but there's only minor windows in that side. The rest is open. It's like to the right hand side and the back of they've done the views. So,
and what's the comments from the neighbours?
Well, basically, they felt it was out of keeping in the Peak Park in the sort of in that. So
because of the roof plans.
I can.
Yeah, I can see the roof and the plans. So.
Just brought it up. Can you see that comment?
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a character of the setting of a conservation area within the park. Peak National Park, yeah.
I will just mention to you, sorry, I will just mention to you, they have just refused one that had a similar roof, with the lanterns in the Peak Park. So
I can see why they've done it. I mean, it does. Is this going to be a kitchen?
Yeah,
to get the lighting, yeah.
Yeah, but they're also going to lose a ton of heat through that. I know it's not, one of the reasons we can use for planning, but I think they'll regret it in the end.
They are putting some insulation in the roof at the back, because apparently there's no insulation.
Yeah, it says here was a small modest rear extension to the small non-historic property deemed to be insignificant.
I think they're referring to a previous planning application.
Right.
Stella.
All right, yeah.
The redacted stuff was not redacted a week ago, but I won't tell you what it says, what it said.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
Chris.
just
Chris.
listening to what Emma said then, Chair. What we've had one turned down recently, Emma.
Yeah, the Peak Park have refused it because of the lantern in the roof, and they've obviously proposing 2 kind of similar roofs. So I mean, whether they'll let them have it, but considering they're in the conservation area, I wouldn't have thought so.
Okay. Thank you, Emma.
And I'll put you the third comment up.
I think in principle, it's you know, it's nice adding livable space inside one of these, you know, buildings that, I mean, they're very difficult to convert, and inevitably they end up as a compromise inside. So you know, the idea of building on a kitchen is probably going to make it easier to live in the place. But yeah, I don't like the roof.
I can see why they've done the roof to get the light in, but if I'd like a roof. But
Chris, it's your ward. You know, what do you think?
It's difficult. The orange roof before was in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know that had been turned down, because I thought that one would go through, because you basically have to get a very high powered telescope to be able to see it from anywhere. But there was another one nearby, near to this house. Obviously, it was a lot more modest. I think that went through. It was at the back of a row of terraces. When I say it went through, I'm not saying 100%, but I assume I didn't know the orangery in the middle of nowhere had been turned down, because I presume that is what Emma is referring to. Would it be that maybe it could do with being more of a traditional design?
yeah, maybe, because you know, if they had a normal roof, they'd more
Okay,
likely.
yeah, okay. Jason, what do you think about that comment?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, there are 3 people who know more about the area than I do. It's Peak Park, it's conservation area. I think any development in a conservation area has to be sympathetic, and it has to go unnoticed, really. So in that respect.
So in that context, the sort of I can maybe suggest a context, you know, that we asked the officers to look at maybe moving this more towards a slightly more traditional construction, something like that. You're nodding, Nigel. So
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So we're in agreement with that sort of caveat. So shall we say we support the general principle of an extension, but feel that it should maybe be more of a bit more of a traditional construct. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Okay, Emma, have you written that down? I've given you a bit of a
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. Now the next one. Oh, this is another conservatory at the back. Little corner, Long Lane, Coombs. I think this is what the Americans would call prime real estate. If you're sat in the garden at the beehive at Coombs, it's down the lane in the opposite direction, but it is very nice. It was up for sale a couple of years ago, but it does look very nice. It's quite a bit of land at the back. Now, this is, again, this is more of a cottage design. Sorry, the building is a cottage. I think it was always meant to be a house. It was a cottage, a detached cottage, and this is probably a more modest one at the back. Does so people, any comments, please, or do people want pictures?
No, I think an oak, a conservatory, if it's there usually, by the sounds of it, it's the PVC and they want to make it into an oak or orangery, which is going to be more in keeping.
Yeah, this is basically turning plastic. It's the same footprint. It's turning plastic into more traditional, sympathetic. If you want to,
I'd be happy to support this.
okay. Does anyone want to see pictures? Jason?
No.
I'm okay. I'm happy to support this.
Yeah, I know which one it is.
I go past there a lot, and I think it does look right personally. Okay, so that's a no objection or a support.
Okay.
Support or no objection, folks.
I think,
No objection.
I think it's an improvement. So
Yeah,
I'd
Shall we should put support?
Yeah.
Support, please, Emma.
Okay.
Right, now we're on to the actual ones which aren't into one that's not a national park. Links Road at Chapel Frith. It's alterations to garage to form a habitable room. Now, basically, these are houses which are quite close together. Now, they've got attached garages integrated into them, from when they were built. Now, it's one of those, there's the sort of garage where you can get a car in the garage as long as it's not too large, but then it's getting out the car is very difficult. It's a very narrow garage. And basically they're made, so effectively, I'm sure they just, unless you've got a mini or something, they just use the storage space and work.
Well, why is this not permitted development?
I don't know if it's because it's a change of use or whatever.
Because when we turned our garage into a granny flat, we asked the planning department, and they just said, it's permitted. You don't need to apply. So I would assume, unless when these were built, they said you cannot develop your garage, then it's permitted.
Okay, that'd be a planning thing. Emma, are you able to throw any light on it at all?
No, but we have had in the past, off that estate, lots of applications. So it may be that they did used to have, when they were built, they couldn't be changed. We have had quite a few off that same estate.
And have many gone through?
Yeah, a lot of them have changed them.
Yeah,
I can remember. Because they're small houses, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're quite, basically, they put it basically the main bit of the guys would be a study or a bedroom if they wanted it to be a bedroom, and then there's like utility, possibly a bit of an extension to the kitchen at the back. Other thoughts, please?
No, I was looking at that. I think are they going to do a washroom, a utility room on the back as well? Change it up. I'm sure when I looked at the plans, if that's the right one.
Quite possibly. You could do
it doesn't. I mean, it's not going. I don't think it's going to look at the door. It's just going to change the front a bit, isn't it?
I think nowadays people don't use their garages. They park their cars on the street or on their drives, and this will, provide more habitable space for the people living in there, rather than just, what it is now is probably just a load of junk. Sorry if the applicants are what.
Yeah, because you do. The one we had at Mary Meadow, we just filled it with stuff. We
Okay.
couldn't fit the car. We couldn't actually fit the car in it.
Jason?
Well, yeah, I noticed that the DCC that they'd replied on it and said they had no objections, providing it didn't start to interfere with the highways.
Yeah.
And that would be my concern. Whilst Nigel's saying people aren't using garages, we've got more and more cars parked on streets, more and more difficulties. But you know that if other houses have passed, you can't sort of not agree on this one, can you?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the garages are that small. It'd fit my Yaris in, but it won't fit Martin's car in.
Yeah. There will obviously, there's always space in front of the garage. You know, it doesn't mean you've got a drive that's big enough for a car, and if you widen it a bit, you can put 2 cars there. So,
Yeah, I'm happy with that one.
Are we no objection in this case, or
No objection.
Okay, everybody's nodding. Can we amend to no objection, please,
Yeah.
Emma? Back to the Peak Park. Benniston Hold of Hold. Application for removal of variation of condition of 2 on the previous planning. Basically, they're looking like a French windows. That they're basically the saying it's because it's like a wellness thing, but people might be vulnerable. It's to make it more calm and relaxed for people who will be there at this conference centre, or if that's the right term. I think it's sort of area around the back, and it's just basically you get it like a French window, a small French window in an otherwise fairly blank sectional wall. I don't know what people's thoughts are.
I'm pretty eager that we do everything we can to get
this all up and running.
Yeah.
It's gone on for so long, hasn't it? I weren't sure which. I didn't know it was called that, but when Emma was saying, I knew, I realised which one it was. Yeah, it's been derelict for so long. It's just falling to pieces, and they are willing to spend the money and do it up. And it should be a good place, and it'll bring tourism in as well.
Jason?
Again, I hear what Nigel's saying. Providing it doesn't spoil the view, if you like. It's in an area that it's quite a prominent building, isn't it?
I think it faces towards the hillside. I'm fairly certain.
So it's not visible.
No, only from the side, only from behind within the side.
I'd have no objections, Chris.
That's my understanding. Is that a no objection, or with it being something that people are keen to get moving, would that be a support or no objection?
I would support that, Chris.
Support, yeah. Nigel, yes. Stella,
yeah.
That's a support, please, Emma.
Okay.
Back to number Peak Part 1, Border House Chapel and Frith.
Yeah, this is one I couldn't get on again. It wouldn't let me put the numbers in for some reason.
Okay. How conservation renovation of curtilage of listed outbuildings to form ancillary habitable accommodation. To explain this, if you're going from the Chestnut Centre as was down to Ford Hall, and you go down the bottom and sort of, and you start to go up the hill, you've got the main Ford Hall on your right, and you sort of just start to go up. This it's about the third building, just opposite, like a lane which comes from the other direction, which is just access to someone's house and that. And it looks like it's called Ford House, so it's got another name as well. Now it looks like it was probably a farm building in the days gone by, but this is and it's got very extensive land because it goes right across a lot of the other gardens, and it's quite, a gigantic holding. It's a very large holding. Oh, and it looks like they've got paddocks and room fields at the back as well. It is very, very large. Now, it's basically like a walled garden with it's outbuildings. I don't know. They might have been stables, or I mean, it refers to them as greenhouses as well. Some of it's in good condition. Some of it's dilapidated. Some of it's like just a shell of wood now, just like with the old greenhouse. I think the greenhouses have been allowed to sort of have gone to over a long time, and the thing, and it's within a much larger site. So I just wonder, and relatively, and down a bit, but it's sloping, so there's always got to be something below it. But it is dropping away from the road.
So it says ancillary habitable accommodation. So what are they going to use it for? Are they holiday lets, or are they just going to extend what they're doing for their family?
They're basically, well, DCC have made a very sensitive comment in that they're happy with it as long as it's not only for ancillary accommodation. So people, I presume it'd be family staying there, possibly friends to push, but not anything chargeable,
Right.
and that sort of thing. And obviously, as children get older, but everybody at the moment is looking for some separate sort of sleeping accommodation, because you
Well,
can't really.
It's not really visible from the road the same, is it? So
No, it is a geographic site.
What does Jockey think? This is in his patch.
This one, I've actually no objections to, Nigel, in as much as that, like Chris says, it's actually it's off the beaten track, if you like. So I wouldn't be against this.
Okay, it is bringing back into use a semi-derelict building, so it is, and
it tidies the area up somewhat.
Yeah,
it does tidy it up, and it's that area just needs a bit of TLC. So is that a support? No objection?
no objection and support it.
Jason?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Nigel?
Yep.
The next one I've got to come out for.
Okay, is that a no objection then?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no objection.
Okay, no objection, please, Emma.
Okay, I'll just put Stella in waiting room.
Put me in the waiting room.
Right, there you go.
Okay, okay. Okay, Little Acorn. Well, we had this on an application about a month ago or so ago, but it appears that a little bit at the end of the garden, I mean, basically, traditionally, a lot of the people around there bought extra land off the farmer. Basically, all along Manchester Road is the case in many cases. And part of that, the bit that was bought off the farmer is on a separate deed. And it's a very small, I mean, it's just a little bit at the back, but that would be the little bit where this shepherd's hook would go. But it's not much bigger than this. You probably could get about. It's only about probably the size of 3 shepherd's hook. Shepherd's hook as it is this space, or maybe 4. So it is a very small and. You could argue that it's neither here nor there. So, what do people think?
So, in the previous application, DCC were happy with people creating more accommodation so long as it wasn't commercial. Now, it strikes me as I'm happy whether it's commercial or not. I think that Chapel is lacking in tourist accommodation. And these sort of things like shepherd's huts and it all adds to the Airbnb and getting people in during the summer, getting money into the shops.
Okay, I mean basically the previous application I think has been deferred while they sort this bit out, because it's just basically that this gets incorporated into the main garden. So basically, you could say something. This is a very maximum maybe a 20th of the size of the garden or a 10th, and they just for this last bit. Jason?
Yeah, no objections.
Okay, I think we've all got no objections, Emma.
That's fine. I'll put Stella back in.
Welcome back, Stella. We're now going on to Wade Holmes, land at the Forge Works.
I've got a question here, Chair.
Yeah.
Why is the Chapel Parish Council discussing homes built in Chinley?
Because it's in Whitehall. It's basically the river is the boundary. So, for instance, the pubs at Whitehall are in Chapel Parish.
Right.
When you go down to the bottom, the river is the
boundary.
There's a passport control there because it's my parish.
Yes, I know.
It was the first thing I put in.
Right, fabulous.
Right. The old dormer works, isn't it? Obviously, I do know quite a bit about this because I've been working with DCC, and I have spoken to the developers and that to try and get a lot of the problems sorted. Basically, they wanted to vary a section 106 planning application, and the situation at the moment now is they've sort of just deferred everything, say they can't afford to build the rest of the homes unless it's eased. Now, normally, you think, oh, this is the developer just trying it on. But I've been down there, I've spoken to residents, I've spoken to Derbyshire County Council, I've spoken to IP Council, I've spoken to the developer, and they have had major problems there. The flooding is one quite big element of it. I mean, yes, Jason.
Building a house on a floodplain, you would expect to get some flooding.
The problem is that a lot of it is not that it's on a floodplain, but there is flooding coming down from the bypass. And these two major drains got to go. There's one got to go under the tramway, and there's one got to go under the Forge Road, which is the main access road into it. Now, they have been delayed, and probably not the fault of the developer. It's I've been there, and I don't think Derbyshire County Council has sort of been perfect in this, in many ways. But I mean, it's complicated. But what I'd like to make a suggestion here, and we don't want to be seen. We want to be seen sort of to be fair-minded. That maybe our comment before you come in, so just to explain, maybe our comment is that we ask all parties to work together to sort out. We realise there are problems, and we ask all parties to work together to sort them out in a spirit of cooperation. That's what I'm saying. I just want Nigel.
I would be very sceptical about building more houses until the current flooding problems are sorted, because you just leading to misery of more families, aren't you?
Problem is, a lot of it is sort of like chicken and egg. A lot of the flooding alleviation is in the phase 3, and it's like some of that which has got sort of delayed. So the flooding alleviation won't happen unless the phase goes ahead, and the major culvert under the tramway. Don't ask me. I've got. It's got to the point where you tear your head out. Jason. Jason.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. A comment from me would be that flooding alleviation really should be a primary part of any development, and you shouldn't have to wait to phase 3 for it to come in. Looking at the application, I would be against it. However, I haven't visited it. So if you wanted to take me around it and show me the problems that they've had, because looking at a plan, and making I've read the notes. I would be against it. However, if you wanted to walk me around and show me, I would be. I'd keep an open mind.
I'd be quite happy to do that, Jason.
Do we have time to shove this into January's meeting?
I can email them because they are not going to have another development control now until sort of the end of January. Yeah, so you know, I can email them and ask them, can we make a comment sort of after about the 14th of January it'll be, won't it? Which is what I've done with the one that came in late today. And I don't think there'd be an issue because, like Chris said, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of conversations are going to have to be had before make a decision on this.
I'm happy to take everybody around and show it, but bring your wellies. That's the main thing.
Yeah, it is. I've been down there when I was doing all my deliveries, and it does get really, really bad.
Chris, I mean, what have you heard any of the views of neighbours of this development?
Basically, it's the flooding issues which concern them. They want the flooding stopped, and which basically relies on three things. Now, one is the major culvert under the road, Forge Road. One is the tramway one, and then there's some work I'm pushing for right on the main road, Whitehead Road as well. But it's a lot of chasing and that. The thing is, the section 106 contributions, nobody sort of, it's a sort of, unless you see it as a new classroom or something like that, it's very difficult to sort of people to get excited over, if you know what I mean. But by all means, I can introduce you to some of the residents and all sorts.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea.
Okay, so we're going to defer it, are we?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could ask them the question, Emma, please. So that takes us on to the one that's added on.
Yeah.
Which is the one at Devolve, the parsonage, which is the old name for a vicarage.
Yeah, the Shalom Holstead. I printed this one off, Chris, because it looks as though it's going to be quite a bit bigger than the old. The new bit's got quite a bit bigger than the old bit, isn't it?
Basically, the old bit was two pieces that are a bit L-shaped, and this sort of is like knocks them down and puts a garage there. If you look at the junior school, there's a passageway down the left-hand side. The junior school is to the left of the church now, and at one time, you know, we had the school in front, and at the back was the parsonage or vicarage, if you like. And I presume originally the parsonage, before it was sold off, was accessed from the church, and the aspect points towards that. It looks at the church. Now, when it was sold off, it seemed to put this driveway down the left-hand side. Now, basically, this would. Right. Hello, Nigel. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've delivered down there, and when you go down there, it is a bit ramshackle. I mean, it looks, it's not visible from the road, and it looks a bit of a mess at the moment.
Yeah, looks like it's falling to bits. Well, it is falling to bits.
Yes, I mean, it'll be visible probably slightly, just the roof would be from the cricket ground. But generally, they're not going. The height will still be less than the school roof and the church. Well, obviously the church roof and the building roof. But it will be slightly higher than, and not because they wanted to fit a van in it, and then there's a small, and there's a little office in the eaves as well. So it was slightly higher but you've got very peaky buildings there. The school and obviously the churches, sort of. So
You're not going to, with this, I mean, the way I'm looking at it, I'm not, in my head, I can't get where the school playing ground, they're not looking into the school playing ground with all these with this new building and the windows, are they?
I think currently they do look into the playground.
Yeah, because that's
So
a concern of mine.
It's fairly open at the back, because I remember when I went down there delivering a couple of months ago, it was playtime, and there were teachers stood at the back, sort of watching what was going on.
it's probably the part of the plot. It's probably the piece that's farthest away from the playground.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I haven't got an issue. It just on the plans, it looks as though it's a bit bigger, but it's a big piece of, it's a big house anyway, isn't it? If you know what I mean.
Jason?
No objection.
Okay, I'm the same actually. No, I have no objection. I don't know what. No,
Yeah, I'm no objections.
Stella?
Yeah. I was just wondering how far from the playground it was. That was all. I couldn't get the.
Yeah, it's sort of. It's right down the bottom left-hand corner if you're looking at it as it's an oblong piece of
Right.
land.
So right, I've no issues then.
Okay, so Emma, that is a no objection, please. Which takes us on to appeals, I think.
No, I've got no appeals.
Notifications.
Okay, notifications. The one I mentioned before, Greenhouse in Coombs, they have been refused for their single-story oak-framed orangery extension to the rear, and that was because of the roof and the lanterns. Said it fails to respect the standard. Oh no, it fails to respect the character and appearance of the original dwelling. So that's why I just mentioned before about the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
Good
Point.
Nigel.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise one question which I'd like answered by High Peak Planning, which is that natural stone surfaces have been constructing a new warehouse. I just wanted to check with High Peak Planning that that's permitted development.
Yeah, I noticed that as well when I was down there, and I couldn't find the plans for it.
Which site? The one near the tramway?
No, it's not the new
No,
one.
it's on the front of the road.
On Sheffield Road?
Yeah, it is, isn't it, Stella?
Yeah, no, you kind of go up to the side. It's not where the new buildings are going to be, where the plans have gone. It's
No.
kind of behind them at the actual building. It's hard to explain. As you go up the side to get to the tramway,
Right.
at that end, it's on the end of their building there.
Are you talking about the taco bays?
Yeah, that's it. I
Right.
didn't know the name of them. Yeah. So yeah, it's around there, and I've noticed they're putting something new up, but I've not seen any plans for it. They've got the plans going through for the other bits, haven't they? But it's not gone through yet, has it?
No, it's not gone through yet, no. But this one's not included.
I think we just need to check whether, I think they have knocked something down there. I just want to check with High Peak Planning that, it is replacing something of the same footprint and in the same place.
I'll email enforcement and just ask them to do a bit of a site check.
Yeah, if you could, yeah, because I noticed it when I was walking down there.
Okay. Right, so that was the refusal. We've also got permission for Colborne and Mellor Lane, which was the demolition of the existing conservatory to construct a new one, and then they put the extension to the garage area as well. That's been given permission. And also they have refused the PVC windows on 11 Marketplace. And that's it.
Okay, is there any other business
I've not got any.
No, I haven't.
Jason?
Is this the right time to ask if I could be put forward for some planning training, please, Chair?
Not in any means, certainly. Would you be able to make inquiries, Emma?
Dalk for you and High Peak.
Will you sort of be able to check and let Jason know?
Yeah, I'll have a look tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Emma.
Have you rest of you been on it?
I went on it. Yeah, I know Paddy
So
and
it's only
Carol
me.
as well, but they didn't.
I never object to a bit more, though.
Mm.
Right.
There's always a question,
Yeah.
you've forgotten, so I'd be happy to go on it again as well. It says to resolve to exclude the press and members of the public. Have we got any items like that, Emma?
I haven't actually this month, which makes a change. I don't know if any of you lot have got anything.
No.
No.
That's nothing then.
So next meeting date is Tuesday, 12th of January.
Yeah.
So
It is, yeah.
can I thank everybody for attending, and have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you. And it's a quick meet. I love the planning. This is so quick.
I'll make it longer than next time for you, Stella.
No, you're okay, love. I've not had my tea
Merry
yet.
Christmas, everyone.
Same to you.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Right, see you later.
Bye.
2021.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.